happening, y'all? Jay Washington here for the Trusty Sidekick podcast. I am here in Chicago again at the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, better known as C2E2, live in Chicago, Illinois at McCormick Place. As you can see, the crowds are flooding in. The doors just opened here, and we got an array of costumes to show you. I'm even already terrified of one because there's a Pennywise directly to my right. I'm trying not to pee on myself. But nonetheless, man, we're going to have so much fun. We got a bunch of interviews. We're going to talk to a whole bunch of people for y'all, and we may even run into people that I might know. Who knows? But stay tuned, man. All of that is coming up. You all are going to love it. I guarantee it. Combat has always been one of my favorite games growing up. So to see Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and I can't remember this one. I thought it was Ermac. I knew it earlier. I told my camera person, I was like, this is Ermac. To stop here because I saw all of these amazing lightsabers, and I wanted to talk to Aaron from Wonder Force about it. So tell me about these amazing products you got.
Hey, Jack, you said? Jay, nice to meet you. Pleasure. So these are affordable custom sabers that we build by hand. We make them manufacturing in China, but we're based out of LA. So we're selling them first time in C2E2. It's our first year participating, and they all grow very, very brightly. They come with realistic sound effects, such as these.
Now, one of the things I noticed, you have the different ones from the different iterations of the Star Wars films. And the one I like best is the Senkin 2, the Kylo Ren one.
Right.
Do you have a display of that one?
It's still being charged at the moment, so we just started, yeah.
We'll come back and get that one a little bit later. So if people, for those who are watching online and catching this later after the convention, how can they reach you, get in touch with you and Wonder Force to maybe get them one of these lightsabers?
They can follow us on our Facebook page, wonderforceco.com, and yeah, just check us out.
All right, definitely. Make sure you check out wonderforceco.com. Get you one of these amazing sabers. They come in different colors. You see these colors? That's a nice red. It's a nice red and blue. What? These are all different colors. But you can find all this more. It's C2E2 here now. But make sure you check out wonderforce.co and get you one then. At the VRV gallery here at C2E2, and one of the greatest things I've saw about this is they have all of the retro gaming systems that you can play, and already set up is Super Mario Brothers 3. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna see how good I am still, or how bad I've become at a classic game. So if I'm bad, act like you never saw it, but if I'm good, praise me on it. Always remember, if you get it at a 45-degree angle, you get the star, so never forget that. There may be series that you've never heard of, and I'm honored to be here at the Paradise the Comic Series booth and talking to one of the screenwriters. I met you before, but tell the people out there your name.
Yeah, Jay, so I'm Jared Bartemeyer, and I'm one of the screenwriters, one of the creators of Paradise. And so Doug Levinson, who is around here somewhere, we wrote an entire season of our show titled Paradise, and we went out to LA last year. That's one of the reasons we weren't at C2E2 last season, but we went out there to shop it. We shopped it with HBO, we talked to AMC, we talked to the BBC, and with Unique Features, and everybody loved our show, which is great to hear. They liked our story, our characters, everything about it. They just didn't like the price point. It's like we went out there and we tried to shop Game of Thrones without having the built-up audience. And so what they asked us to do, Jay, was to go out and kind of base it on a best-selling print material. Just like, you know, Game of Thrones would never got put on TV without the books. Right. Walking Dead, the same thing. Lord of the Rings, I mean, even Harry Potter, you know, we got to build up the audience. And so basically we came back, you know, it's great to hear that they love it, but that you got to go do more work. And so we came back and we came out with our first issue last year, which we had at Wizard World 2017. And then this is the first one at C2E2 where we're coming out with our second issue, which is the very first issue in our pilot series.
So what are you hoping to garner from the response? This is your first time here. Chicago can be a different type of crowd, a different type of beast. How are you trying to explain it to the people to get them interested in what you have?
That's a great question. So basically what we're doing is, I mean, we're from the area, we're local boys, and people love fantasy is what we found out, but they love fantasy grounded in realism. And with our show, we play on the fact that the dragons were responsible for the destruction of the dinosaurs, which is all fantasy, you know, of course, and they go dormant in the Kunlun Mountains for millions of years, and they wake up in modern times, and they find all of us here. And we're trying to play with real themes, even though it's fantasy. And so when they wake up, you know, most shows would just have dragons be a plot device or a villain right away. With us, we want them to be characters, because just like in real war, we want them to, there's good and bad on both sides. And that's really something we try and play with, because, you know, when you're playing with fantasy, you got to make things feel extra real, feel real at all. And that's something that we're carrying through our show all the way. And we're trying to take our comic book series all the way through our show. And I think people like getting in early on things. I think they come to a lot of these conventions to not just find mainstream items, but to find those gems, you know, that they can tell their friends about, and, you know, to get in early, especially because our first issue is actually a prologue into our series. So what we wanted to do was, I started out, I wanted to go out and film something. But even filming something that's 10 to 12 minutes on our budget is pretty expensive.
Can be very expensive.
Right. And so, you know, for the book lovers, what book lover doesn't love having that one-up on the person that watches TV or just movies? And so we put together a prologue that introduces you to our world a little bit before getting into the meat of our pilot episode with our second issue.
I like that. So this is what we're going to do. I want you to tell the people how they can get a copy of the book, find out more about Paradise and everything. If they can't make it to the cons, catch you around different places, tell them how they can reach you, social media, everything.
If you visit our website, you can go to www.paradisethefall.com. We have all of our merchandise on there. We have our About Us section. You're more than welcome to check us out. You can see the crew. You can see the work that we've done. You can also follow us on Instagram at Paradise the Fall, or you can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/ParadiseComics.
Cool, very much. I'm going to be looking forward to that. We're going to have it tagged, everything here on our social media and in this video as well. Jared, I want to thank you for taking time out to talk to me. Make sure you guys check out Paradise series when it comes out into a con near you. It wouldn't be C2E2 without coming by the Marvel stand. We'll go by the other guys later too, so don't worry, we're not excluding anybody. But also in Marvel, we are just, what, 3 weeks away from the biggest team-up film in history, Avengers Infinity War. And as you can see by the poster, it's letting you know how big it is. Also, if my camera lady Dana can pan to my left, we can see the run from Black Panther, which was written by Ta-Nehisi Coates. It is one of the runs of the film that the film was inspired by. So it's going to be a lot of things here. Marvel is also giving away a bunch of free comics. You guys can check all that out. Had to stop by Barton Broad and to meet Steve here because I've always been interested in knowing exactly what is steampunk. It's been a rise in it. I've seen everybody become into it, and I've always wondered what it is. So I wonder if you can give the viewers and the listeners a little bit more of an explanation what exactly is steampunk and why has it become so much more popular in recent days.
Well, I have some bad news because there isn't an exact steampunk. Star Wars, Star Trek, you have what's called canon, which is uniforms and stuff that's been in movies and books and television. But steampunk is a genre. It doesn't have an exactly, there's lots of books by different authors, there's lots of different movies. It's sort of a style, but there's no exact steampunk.
So why did people come up with that as it being a style?
Well, it starts around the Victorian era, which, quite frankly, is really well dressed. The tuxedo, the dresses, the corset, all of that just looks fantastic. And steampunk actually takes ideas that they came up with during the Victorian era, like flying ships, submarines, computers, all these things were imagined at that time, and the Industrial Revolution was going on, so they really thought, you know, in 10 years we're going to have flying cars. They were off a little bit, but they thought of this stuff. Right. They were really ingenious, and so it sort of takes this idea, what if they actually made all those things? What if, you know, Victorian people landed on the moon? Well, they don't have plastics, they don't have, you know, Kevlar and things, carbon fiber. They had leather, they had glass, they had wood, and so these are the materials we sort of stick with. We sort of stick with the style of the dress of the time, but punk means we're going to sort of change some of the norms. Okay. You know, in the Victorian era, women didn't have the right to vote yet. It was very, very, you know, there was the wealthy and there was everybody else. Well, punk says, you can be part of this.
That's a good thing to have everybody inclusive nowadays.
Much more inclusive. I've seen steampunk Native American. I've seen steampunk done in African style. It really says, hey, maybe we'll ignore some of the colonialism and all these horrible things and say, what if all these ideas that they came up with happened and you can just express yourself how you want? So
I love that idea. Now, as far as the garb, the dress, that's what's always got me, especially the goggles. I see the goggles everywhere to go with the vest, the corsets and things like that. Why are the goggles so symbolic with this?
The goggles represented the fact that air travel was seen as the future. Just as we look to the idea that we're going to be going to space. Yeah. Back then, air travel. Steam trains were very popular at the time, but they weren't super fast. In fact, the first trains that they went on scared people so much at 8 miles an hour. And they said, you know, if we ever got to 20 miles an hour, your lungs would explode. Your eyes would shoot out of your head. We can't go 20 miles an hour. And a year or two later, they were doing faster than that and faster than that. But airships started to come about. And when you're up at any kind of altitude, your eyes kind of dry out. And then you have the wind in your face. So you had to sort of protect your eyes from the wind and the cold. And so the earliest aviators and biplanes had these. Airship crews would wear them to protect their eyes. And it sort of becomes the style of, oh, you got goggles? You probably have an airship. Or you got it, you know, maybe you're riding on the train at over 20 miles an hour.
And I see you guys have all that along with the original looking garb and some things that look to be a little bit modernized. And what do you expect to get from the fans here at the convention?
Well, as I said, steampunk is not anything that's locked down. So if you want to have something with wings and you just glue gears onto it, that's fine. I like a little more realistic steampunk grounded in physics and reality. But we're open to everyone trying to do their own costume. We don't say you have to wear this, you must wear a corset. No. If you want to dress in a vest and comfortable pants and things, if you want to have boots, and it's really a style that you can individualize. So you're just not locked down. If you have a stormtrooper, you're going to be looking like a lot of other stormtroopers. Right. If you're going to be in a Star Trek uniform, you're going to look fairly close to that. Although there have been people who've had steampunk stormtroopers. You can mix things. There have been steampunk Star Trek uniforms where, you know, they have a corset in the shape of the Starfleet uniform. You mix things up and it gets really kind of fun.
So for the people out there watching and those that can't be here at C2E2, if they want to find out more information about steampunk in a sense, Bard and Broads, and what you have and what you are offering, how can they reach you?
Well, you can find us on Facebook because, of course, you can. Look up Bard and Broad on Facebook, and that's easy. Our website, bardandbroad.com, BARANDBROAD. And you can, of course, come to this convention. If you can't make it, I feel sorry for you because it's a chance. This is a massive space with lots of amazing guests and some things to see. There's panels to learn how to do some of this stuff, so if you want to learn more about steampunk, or you can just talk endlessly with me because I will talk for hours on the subject.
For many people do know, I spent a lot of time in life as a pro wrestler. The Chicago scene was my home. I made a lot of friends over the years for decades, and I've had the pleasure of still knowing them and hanging around them. And I happen to run into some right now. So, one of my best friends still in life is Mr. Tristan Hayes.
What's going on, man?
Good to see you.
Wait, best friend. Is that until you get your hands on her, or?
Yup.
Yeah.
We're talking about his wife.
Yeah.
It's been our running joke.
That's what he wants.
Have you been?
I'm good.
How are you enjoying the con?
Oh, I'm loving it, man. It's 5th year. I always bring this big mofo right here.
So I've known his son, Tristan, since he was born. And I saw him and I was like, yo, you got huge. And that would be Rion's skills.
Rainbow Skittles, as they like to call them.
This literally keeps happening, and I was like, yo, you get, and then he was like, he's only 12. I was like, what? And then I realized my son's bigger than me. How do you, and I can't forget Joey Roth.
Hey, baby.
Just keeps getting hotter.
Welcome everybody to my new show.
No, it's not. No, it's not. This is not anything with the icons. This is mine. Or Joey Roth, either or.
This is the real villain.
This is probably.
Rob villain, baby.
He was actually passing out his own merchandise here.
Yeah, I was passing out my own merchandise. Exactly, I was selling it. You know, they say you're never supposed to wear your own gimmicks.
You're not.
You know, but I am a different kind of a breed of a cat over here. So I'm definitely gonna wear my own gimmick. I have my own title belt again. And so, you know, what else could you possibly ask for?
I got too fat for the Freebird gimmick, so I got to come up with something new.
Oh, the free beer?
This is what happens, I swear. I just wanted to show you all how wild this can get. Here at C2E2, you can run into people, have fun. Roth, Hayes, Skills. Ugh. of the things, cosplay is amazing, and one of the things I've been telling people is there's some people who had to go to their gigs before they came here to cosplay. As did my man James Fisher Jr. He halfway has his Black Lightning gear.
You see the hood. You see the. You don't know. Come on. Come on.
You got to talk to the microphone.
You don't. Do you see all this? Somebody made this. I got this from her. I had to hunt her down and find her to get my hoodie. But you see the. I love this.
Yeah, but he ain't got the pants. Like, what type of superhero? You could have brought the pants to work with you.
We'll figure that out tomorrow. That's the big day. Is tomorrow. We will figure that out.
This is what happens when people hurry up and rush from their gig. It's like, I'm going to do something. I don't know what it is. I'm going to do something.